All right, bright sunny day. We're back, and here are my. Here's the old um, crankshaft cogwheel, or incorrectly called a sprocket. This is not a sprocket. It's a cogwheel. Sprockets are chain driven, and cogs are belt driven. Like on a bicycle, you call the bicycle chain wheel a sprocket, the front and the rear one. So here's our old cogwheel, and if you look on the inside, let me see if I can get a good shot of it. There we go. On the inside, you see how that damaged Woodruff key created a groove. This is where our original problem stems from. Um, the new one, as you can see, doesn't have that in it. It's a straight groove. There we go, good angle. So the old one, bad. And I mean, this is over time, this is not a magically occurring, it just now happened event. This is over time. And the new one. I got this at my Toyota dealership here locally, like roughly $40 US. Right. Now what I'm about to do is I have to, that Woodruff key right there is damaged. So I have to get it out. It's seized in there, and I have to be really careful because I can't just scoop it out with like a screwdriver or anything like that. I have to use a punch. Let me show you what a punch is. This is a punch. You hit the top part of it with a hammer. The bottom part of it is flat. And all I'm going to do is it's raised up on this end. See if let me get down in there. It's raised up on this end. So if I hit the Woodruff key, I got a raised end. What I'm going to do is hold my punch at the edge of the Woodruff key and hope that I can hit it with my hammer and knock it out of place without damaging or scoring the surface of the crankshaft. You do not want to score the surface of the crankshaft. Not a good thing. I also have some Brillo pad just to clean off all the rust and whatnot like that. Not anything too rough, just to clean the surface of the crankshaft off where the rust is, so that the new cogwheel will slide on there properly, and we can go from there. So I can't hold the camera while I'm doing this, but I'll resume in a few to show you guys the end result, if I'm successful or not. In either case, I'll report my findings. All right, I'm back, and if you look, it's starting to come up a bit. Let me see if I can get it from a better angle. See how it's rising up out of its slot? I didn't hit. You can look and inspect it. I didn't hit the crankshaft. I came from this angle with my punch, and I tapped lightly up. So the round surface of my punch is up against the crankshaft, not causing any damage. Can you see? And all I'm doing is just lightly tapping it and then spraying some WD-40 or PB Blaster, which is my two go-tos. Okay, I finished with the light tapping, and I just put it back in just so you guys can see what it looks like. Alright, there's the slot. Let's catch it from another angle. And here is the Woodruff key. Now, what this basically does is it's designed to lock a rotating item into one position, so that way it doesn't stand a chance of of that part moving around, and in this case, our cogwheel for the crankshaft, our timing cog. Basically, if we look on this one, it fits in right there. See this one, the old one even fits properly. Fits right in the slot there. No wiggling. This is the facing side, so the side that we would all see. And it goes in there like that. Even now it fits in there properly because, you know, there's a little bit of material left on this end. But you see the groove is cut in. Now the groove is what was making, I don't know if you can see it good. Anyway, the groove right here is where everything was happening, and it stopped at that point. The light is so bright out this morning. Let me get it up into some shade. There we go. Now we can see better. All right. You could probably see, my camera's not focusing good. You can probably see the space that's created. And then right there, I just repositioned it so it can slide back into its proper slot. So, yep, let's put it into the old one and see what happens. Here's the old one. Like I said, there's a corresponding groove already cut into it. These two pieces were made up. It's almost like I'm doing a forensic analysis. But yeah, you see how it just slides in? So that's its proper spot. And then if you move it up a bit and then off to the right, it created its own little space. So let me see if I can get it. Yeah, there we go. And that's how it was sitting inside of the on top of the crankshaft. Anyway, you guys get the idea. Can't get this doggone thing to I need my own tripod setup. I'll have that on the next one. That way I'll be able to use both hands at the same time instead of just finagling around with one. Wish I had an extra set of arms. That would be awesome. But anyway, that's how it looks. What I'm going to do now is I have my replacement here. It's right there in the bag. And let me fish it out. Got this from Toyota also. Probably was $1, maybe less. Let's put this over here. This is my new timing belt, water pump component kit. About $100 from O'Reilly's. I suggest that anytime you do a timing belt, I don't care if you just recently done it or it's been a few years. I don't care if the water pump looks fine. There's your water pump galley. Replace your water pump. It's preventative maintenance. It comes in a kit. The kit is inexpensive, and yeah, that's my suggestion. Don't cheap out, because I'm telling you, it will cost you more in the long run. All right, let's see if I can get a good focus on this. You see the two differences now with the new Woodruff Key where my thumb is and the old Woodruff Key. Completely smooth on both sides. This one is not. So basically all I'm going to do is I'm going to clean up the area where this once sat, and I'm going to put the new one in its stead right there. And clean it off a bit. Got all this junk on it. It's rusty and nasty. Let's clean up that. I'm just going to spray it down with some WD-40 again and get it clean. See, it's kind of coming out a little bit clean. But I'm just going to spray the area down with some WD-40. It's got some rough spots from, you know, rust wear and all of that. There's a groove mark here that now that I'm noticing right there's a band, 2 bands, and then a sliding band right there from where the timing belt cogwheel was just sliding back and forth in that spot. Didn't particularly move here, but you can tell that there were some groove marks left. And then there's a bit of a groove right there from it sliding back and forth this way. So it slid this way from spinning partially, and then it slid this way from just drifting. Let me see if I can get a better shot. Yeah, there we go. See, it's sliding marks right there, and then a drifting mark right there. Alright, I'm going to clean it up with this Brillo pad, spray it down nice and clean for some lubrication, and then clean it up and we'll see what we got. Off the shaft. That's the crankshaft. I got some of the rust off. Let me see. It's not as clear as I would like it to be. But you get the point. Let me see if I can zoom in. There we go. Cleaned it off. There's still some scoring marks on it, and that's okay. You know, it doesn't need to be super duper spotlessly clean. You know, you still see patches of rust on it and whatnot. It's smooth, and that's what I was needing for it to do. There's no roughness to it, because when I put the new cogwheel on, this is what I want to happen. I want it to go on nice and smooth. Let's go ahead. Let's put the new piece on. Let me clear out this galleyway here. Let's clean that out. Pretty, you know, just good enough to where there's no grit and grime up in there. All right, let's get the new Woodruff Key. I might have to tap it in, I'm not sure. I shouldn't have to. Looks like I have to tap it in. I shouldn't have to, it's supposed to just drop in. Alright, let me try the other side, just in case. Maybe I got it, you know, pointing in the wrong direction. Possibly it could happen, but whatever. No, it's not going in. It is the right size, right? Let me see if my other Woodruff keys would work. This might not be the right sized one. Let me double check up against this one. I think I might have to tap them in. Would make sense. Because it would prevent it from, you know, moving around and sliding around, and we don't want these keys to move. Alright, let me go get my hammer. It apparently is the same thickness as the previous one. Let me double check. I have some more Woodruff keys here, and I'll double check. I'll get a micrometer and double check it. Worst case scenario, I probably just have to tap it in, which I'll do that with my rubber mallet so I don't damage the metal with metal-to-metal contact with a hammer. Alright, let me stop at this point and I'll start over again. I'll come back. I ended up having to hammer it in. So you see I can't move it or pluck it out with my fingernails, but I got it in there smooth. And we're going to put the cogwheel back on and see what we got. Alright. Voila, we are in there like swimwear. And basically, see, can't move it. I have to readjust my timing mark. Okay, see that dot right there? That's my timing mark, and it's supposed to correspond with that. Probably can't see it. There we go. Get a better angle on it. Boom. That little notch right there. So that's got to line up with that. And yeah, it's not gonna happen until I have to use the crank bolt to tip the crank back a little bit, but no biggie. This is my crank bolt. I'll just screw it on there. Doesn't have to be super tight. Just has to be tight enough for you to get a good bite on the crankshaft itself, and then you could just go back a bit. Tight. All right, let's see if we can get this thing to line up. That's my timing mark. Oh, dang it! I gotta tighten it down a bit more because it's not down on it. I gotta bite down on it a bit. Let me get my mallet. Just a light tap. There you go. All right. Let's see if I can get my timing mark lined up properly. Oh man, it's still a little bit too loose. I don't want to hit it with the impact gun. There we go. All right, let's see if that works. I just got to be real easy, you know. No, like I said, no rush. There we go. Now she's rotating. Just easy. You don't have to. Like I said, I'm not the one to rush. I want this done right. And you know, if you rush things, you cause problems. All right, there we have it. I have just reset the timing mark to top dead center. Let me get some light on this so you guys can see what I'm working with. All right, you see that? I got my notch there, my arrow mark right there, lined up with the dot on the new cogwheel. So there and there. All right, boom. And I'll get a component video set up for everything. That way you guys will know, you know, exactly what I'm doing. You'll basically know how to do your own timing belt if you have the guts. It's really not that hard. I think the hardest part about it all is the knowledge part. You know, it's scary when you don't know what you're doing. So I'm showing you what to do. Review the video quite a few times if you need help. Pretty easy. My very first time I was scared also, but I eventually got it. Most cars are like this with the timing belts. The ones with the timing chain is a lot different. Similar setup though with the timing marks and stuff like that. All of that, you know, carries over on the timing chain vehicles. But those are a lot less maintenance friendly. You know, you don't have to monitor them too much. I think the worst thing that usually happens on a timing chain assembly is the chain tensioner will go out or the guides will go out. But we'll talk about that another time. Let's get started on this and I'll see you in a few. All right, peeps, I'm back. I got everything put back together. Got my tensioner put in, my tensioner pulley assembly put together. The cogwheel for the crankshaft is in. We only got lateral movement. We don't have side to side, just lateral. No side to side movement. I got my water pump assembly put back together. Got my other timing belt idler pulley back together, and I have all my timing points set. I'm gonna put the, as I have to, I'm gonna put the compressor and my power steering pump back together first before I put my timing belt on, and then I should be ready to start after that. So be right back, and everything is looking pretty good. I'll make sure that I show how to lace the timing belt and then we'll just go from there. So let me go ahead, put my compressor and everything back together, and I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. Sorry for the windy noise in the background. It's about to start storming out here or something. Just want you to see what I've done so far. We've got right cam. We got the right cam timing mark. And then you see that, I had to mark this off for you guys. See that little V right there? Everything is going to line up with those marks, okay? So got me a little piece of knife here, straight edge. And I just use it to, you know, make sure everything lines up. We got, see everything lined up, boom, boom, bow, right there. Let's see, we got the second timing mark here. Oh, this knife is no good. Falling apart on me. We got everything lined up there, square. And then on the bottom, I can't see that center mark, of course, because I need to be under the truck. But I marked off the little dot. So you see the dot on the cogwheel right there? And then that timing mark, I put a little gray stuff on it so it can, it's not particularly on it, spot on, but it's in its vicinity. So I'm tight. I'm going to triple check my markings. Let's just clear that off there because it really throws everything off. It's kind of messy. I should have just did it. All right, there we go. Now we can see my timing mark a heck of a lot better. Let me clear off that little bit of spot there, and then you'll be able to see it. Hold on. And boom. All right, we're good to go. So hand crank everything. That's why I still have my wrench attached. I don't want to start this vehicle without hand cranking it. Big nightmare. And I'm gonna pull my grenade pin now. Let me see if I can get this thing smooth out. There we go. Pulling my grenade pin. Come out. Yeah, there we go. It's not working. Let me see if my man, that thing isn't that tight. There we go. Wonder why it's in there so tight. There we go. That's out. My timing is set. Now the thing is, when I hand crank it, these won't line up anymore. The lines anyway. That won't line up anymore, but my timing marks will continue to do so. So don't worry about the installation lines. That's all they're good for. Make sure that I put the belt on properly and everything is tight and in position. Also, the problem that I had before, my belt looseness is not even, I mean, this is like trampoline tight. And you just take it, wiggle it around. You know, this is how you know if you got a bad belt or not. No matter what position it's in, it's going to be extra wiggly. All right, now hand cranking procedure. Watch my timing wheels marks go around and around. Now this is what I was talking about earlier about engine synchronization. Everything works in sequence with one another when it comes to your timing and your engine. If anything is off at all, you have to start over from scratch and make sure that everything lines back up again. So I've done the first round of rotations. Let me see if my timing mark down there is still there. Okay, yep. Now look, I'm almost near my timing marks. Almost near. And down there, You should be able to see it. My dot isn't exactly at the point that it needs to be, but I'm going to get it right on it, and then we check the timing again and see what we got. So I can see it pretty good, but I want you guys to watch what I'm doing. Alright, let's double check, see if I'm spot on. Little bit more. Just a tad, tiny bit. Alright. Like I said, I like to take my time. I don't rush anything. And look at that. We are 100% spot on. Let me sharpen it a bit for you. Boom. So I got the arrow pointing down on the casing of the engine, and it's pointing right at the first tooth with my indentation mark. That's my timing mark. I'm 100% on timing. Let's go back up here. Spot on. Let's go back up over here. Spot on. And if you notice, you see that my left has now moved to the right cam. So those marks don't mean anything other than installation. Let's button it back up and see what we got. Go for it. Alright. Nice startup. We're good to go. Go ahead and drive it and let's see what it does. Yep. We back in business. You're good to go. Awesome. Alright, everything is back in order. We have a nice running engine. A little bit dirty, but the guy's a trapper, so he goes out and traps rodents and whatnot for the city. I know he'll be happy to have his vehicle back. Everything is running great. I'm tapping it off with antifreeze and then going out for a spin, but that's it. Everything is running fine. I'm pleased. We have power again, and the owner should be extremely happy.
Good job, man.
Thanks, everyone.